Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society, and welcome to a little bit of a late AEW Big Business review. The AEW Dynamite Big Business, March 13th, 2024, TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts. I tried to record this review yesterday with Jooseyboy, my co-host, but his computer kept on restarting whilst we were in the middle of the review. So then I tried to do it by myself, but I was so thrown off by things, expecting to have a co-host with me, that by the end of it, I was like, I can't release this. This was a mess. This was an absolute mess. But anyway, we all know what this, excuse me, let me get comfortable here. We all know what this show was all about. This show was about Mercedes Monet, the former Sasha Banks, making her AEW debut. I haven't seen an episode of Dynamite for some time. As you know, we do review the pay-per-views, but have not covered a Dynamite in a while. As many may know out there, we did cover like 20 weeks of AEW Dynamite in 2021 before I tapped out on it. So I was excited to see, you know, how things had changed over the years. So anyway, a car arrives to the building whilst Renee Paquette is in the parking lot. And that's our teaser. And I would have left it as that. And then I would have had a match between whoever. Maybe Darby and Jay White. Just whatever. And then I would have had a shot of some feet. Well, maybe some stiletto heels, whatever Sasha was wearing on her, Mercedes was wearing on her feet. I would have had a shot of that walking backstage. So you're teasing it. You're stringing people along. You're keeping them there, right? You're trying to build it up. And at the top of the first hour, that's when her theme song hits and she comes out and cuts the promo. That's what I would have done, as opposed to what we got here, which is just straight up. She comes out. This is like CM Punk all over again, where, you know, he just came out, cut the promo, and then didn't see him for the rest of the show. Yes, hang on. I know she came out later. Just hang on. This is a thing with AEW. A lot of the time people show up and then like there's no thread of a story through a show, which is pretty much like elementary stuff when it comes to a television show. You have a beginning, middle, and end. No, it's not just like, no, AEW is not like WWE. It's not the point. WCW had a beginning, middle, and end of their shows too. Sorry, as I was saying, it is not a foreign concept. Every wrestling show is supposed to have a beginning, middle, and end. This segment here, okay, look, she looked awesome. The fans obviously were very happy to see her. You know, it is rich to me, though, that the AEW fan base hates WWE so much. Well, some of them do. But when someone from WWE shows up, there's a big love in, right? This show was called Big Business, and they did not do big business. This segment should have done business. There should have been something, anything that happened in this segment. I don't give a shit what anyone has to say. Okay? I was very disappointed that someone had several months to think of something, a scenario, something interesting to do business later down the line. Something, anything would have done other than this. I would have done anything other than what we got, which was just a promo of her sounding rather arrogant about all of her accomplishments, thanking the fans, blah, blah, blah. We got nothing we didn't get any anything to sink our teeth into creatively as a fan watching this segment. What would have I done? What would have I done? I thought about it this afternoon, and I can think of two scenarios that would have been way better than what we got. You know, you need to do business. It's hell simple, bro. Okay, I know Britt Baker has been injured. She's had a bad back, but I don't think there would be anything stopping her talking on the microphone or maybe hitting Mercedes Monet in the face with an open hand slap. I would have had Britt Baker interrupt unannounced, like it's not on the format. Commentators are confused. She gets in the ring, grabs the mic, confronts Mercedes, and cracks the shits at her because she is so sick and tired of these WWE bitches coming over here and taking up a spot of one of the hardworking AEW women's division combatants. Something, anything, right? Okay. If Britt can't wrestle yet, then that's okay. Britt can slap Mercedes in the face. They can start to maybe get into a bit of a tussle, at least in a safe way. Security comes out, splits them up. Tony comes out, although I'd rather he just have like somebody who is like an authority figure that's not needed all the time, but that can just come out and make decisions. He comes out, is mad, steaming mad that she's ruined the segment. The show was about Mercedes. It's called Big Business. It's about her. How can you do this, Britt? You know. Then she gets suspended or something like that. At least then you've done something that we can look forward to down the line. Something where, okay, we've planted a seed. Something can happen down the line between Britt and Mercedes. I think that first and foremost is such a dramatic scene and comes across a lot more interesting than her just coming out and just talking. And I know there's a lot of AEW fans out there that loved it and see no fault in it. But can you honestly listen to that idea and think that that's a worse idea or too much? Come on, man. The other idea I had, and this will make some people's eyes roll in the back of their head, but when Mercedes talks about like having the injured ankle and being injured in her match with Willow Nightingale several months ago, and that it was career threatening and she was told she might never wrestle again. Imagine Soraya's theme song hit and out she comes with Ruby Soho. They get in the ring and confront Mercedes, and Soraya says, funny that you're talking about the fact that there was a moment in your life where your career was threatened with an injury. Bit rich of you to be getting all emotional about something like that when you're the reason I didn't get to wrestle for so-and-so years. You're the one that kicked me in the spine at that live event for the other company. And there you go. Okay. We've got a story that's already built in. If Soraya, the character who's a heel, knows that Mercedes is coming in, she knows she's going to mention an injury. She knows that she is going to take it personally that she's going to whinge about an injury when she was on the shelf for however many years. There you go. There's something to build off, not just cutting a promo. Okay. I'm sorry I talked about it for some time, but she just stood there and told her life story. And I want heat. I want heat. Come on, guys. AEW fans, there's friends of mine that I argued with yesterday. There's people on Twitter I've been arguing with. No business was done here. Someone argued with me today saying like, if I can find it. But someone cracked the shits at me today because I was saying that no business was done here, and anyone could have come up with a segment or an idea that would have been more interesting than this. This absolute drivel, bro. Here we go. So I said something I said something to the effect, how many weeks did he have to think of an interesting scenario to take place? All that money to sign her, all the women who've been there for ages get bumped down a spot. Also, she can cut a mediocre promo. Not against her. It was mediocre because nothing came of it. It's just. So this guy, Mike at KYUK Blue on Twitter, said, but she did come out and get involved in a match. And I'll get to it later. And I responded, which was nonsense. And the response, here we go. Here we go. Just want to hate on her. Gotcha. Yeah, Mike. Had nothing to do with her. I didn't even say anything about her. And then I wrote, why save Willow when Chris Statlander as a tag partner was clearly shown to be in the building? Booked for the sake of it, no creativity whatsoever. So you didn't watch. Statlander was attacked from behind and was being seen by doctors. What? What? By Julia Hart? By Julia Hart? Nothing against Julia, but excuse me, didn't Statlander and Willow beat Julia and Sky Blue in a tag match? Sky Blue wasn't there with her because Sky came through the crowd to attack Willow after the match. So I'm supposed to believe that Julia Hart took out Chris Statlander like that. I did watch it. Seen by doctors. Are you kidding me? It's so it was so forced and predictable. No creativity. Show was written with a crayon. His reply, yawn. And I said, that's exactly how I reacted to the show. Right? There. All right. I got that out of my system. Everything that was done with her on Big Business was a waste of time, written by somebody that has no business calling a show Big Business and writing it because they don't know how to write something that equates to big business. Okay, I don't want to make this a review where I'm just complaining the whole time, but it's a little difficult to be excited and intrigued and interested when nothing is happening. And I'm going to get to the main event later. Okay. Okay. You know what? It annoyed me that she took her jacket off and then just left it in the ring. Why would you do that? It doesn't matter. Got a vignette with Adam Cole sitting in a chair and he's reading a book about the story of Wardlow and his situation with MJF some time ago. Can't wait for him to come back and for them to finally do this storyline. I've said this before. I think I said it on the Revolution review. The issue with the Undisputed Kingdom, listen to me if you're an AEW fan and you're probably getting steamed at things that I've said so far. Maybe you're seeing a different side of things and understanding where I'm coming from, that I'm just trying to give constructive criticism. But the issue with the Undisputed Kingdom is that they were affecting the lay of the land before we found out who the devil was. And now they aren't really. It's not true to the characters. It's not true to what they were doing before. Wardlow needs to do something about his haircut. I don't know what's going on at Revolution. It looked atrocious, like he had no water pressure in his shower and his hair was just looked so weird. And now it looks like a mushroom. It's like, bro, shave it and start over, okay? By the way, Ward Joe is the worst tag team name ever. Come on, man. Oh, okay. The match itself was good. Joe and Wardlow work well together, okay? For two big bastards. Wardlow shows the high flying, the athleticism, going off the top rope, that corkscrew. Fantastic. Wasn't too sure, though, about him being choked out It seems like they always take Wardlow, build him up for a bit, get all these big wins, and then he gets stopped in his tracks. It's a bit difficult because it feels like it doesn't matter what month it is, doesn't matter what's happening. Wardlow can't seem to get any momentum. He had momentum when he beat MJF at whatever the pay-per-view was. He had momentum, and it's been taken away from him several times now. By the way, it was a Swanton bomb, not a Senton Atomico. Excalibur, please. We get it. Oh, my back's killing me. Swerve comes out after the match. This ticks me off, dude. Okay? The people are behind Swerve, okay? He comes out. He's beating up security, wanting a piece of Samoa Joe. The security are desperate for him to not actually attack Joe and fight with Joe, even though it would be one-on-one after the match. And I was like, I bet you anything, nothing else happens with this angle for the rest of the show. This is why I'm nitpicking this one, okay, everyone? This is why I'm nitpicking. Because why is it okay for the Bang Bang Gang to beat the ever-living shit out of the Acclaimed and essentially break Darby Allin's ankle later in the show with no security, no referees coming out to stop anyone, but Swerve can't come out and just have a little bit of a fight with Joe? I need consistency as a wrestling fan. I know that it might come across like I'm going overboard with my nitpicking, but as a fan, I need consistency. And if y'all out there are totally happy with holes in plots like this, where they're not consistent through the show with the same stuff, I don't know what to tell you, man. Sorry, I'm trying to take my shoes off whilst I'm doing the review because my feet are, my dogs are barking right now. If you're okay with this, I'm happy for you. I can't stand shit like this. I don't know if it has something to do with like OCD or ADHD or whatever the hell. But come on, consistency, make it make sense. He's not seen trying to go after Joe for the rest of the show. So you mean to tell me after Joe walked off, Swerve was just like, okay, well, I tried. Time to get into the rental car and head to the airport to the next town. Don't start with the whole, oh, there was a recording for Rampage afterward. We're supposed to pretend that these things happen on the days that they air. That's how it works, okay? So many people coming up with excuses for things. Anyway. Bro, the relief of taking my shoes off after getting home after a 12-hour shift at work. Alex Marvez attempts an interview with the Elite. Excuse me, again, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Okay. Again, I'm nitpicking, okay? Because I don't know who formatted this show. I'm guessing it was Tony, but maybe someone else needs to format this show. Okay? The Bucks just aren't very good at talking. I'm sorry. Marvez calls him Okada, and one of the Bucks says, like, what are you, his best friend? What? Marvez is then made to sing happy birthday to Matthew as the segment comes to an end. They have a commercial break, and they were in their civilian clothes. And the very next thing, they're in their gear making their entrance. There's no way that they were ready, unless Excalibur said that this happened earlier today, but I don't recall him saying that. If that was the case, okay, but they were already in their gear. This should have aired before the Wardlow and Samoa Joe match, this segment, okay? Anyway, we get to the match. It's a 6-man tag team match. The Elite, Kazuchika Okada, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson take on the Death Triangle of Park and Penta and Eddie Kingston with Alex Abrahantes at ringside. I wasn't looking forward to this, and I'll just be honest, this is not my kind of wrestling. I don't like this kind of style. This reeks of, I want to see these people hit their moves on one another. That's all it is to me. Another thing that I marvel at with this stuff, that every time they do a move, the crowd are like, oh, ooh, oh. Like, you've seen it a million times. There's no heat on this match. I don't understand. Maybe I just will never understand. Okay, I'm going to try and get over it, but every time Penta was in the ring, I fast forwarded it. I can't stand him anymore. I'm sorry, I cannot stand him. I saw a chop battle happening. Skip. It really wouldn't hurt for Kingston to get new ring gear. I'm just being honest. Something a bit more flattering. And maybe he needs to think about coloring for his beard, because, you know, the gray hairs, you know, the muffin top. He does. Come on. I'm not body shaming. I'm being honest. Okay. You want to look like an ass kicker? You wrestle like one, bro. He's a good wrestler. Come on, man. Like, put on a loose shirt or something. I don't know. But wear something that you don't have to tuck into your pants. Okada pinned Kingston after getting field goal kicked in the nuts by one of the Bucks. And yeah, Okada hit the Rainmaker to win. So that was a fine finish. I just didn't care for the match. We get a promo of Adam Copeland challenging Christian to an I Quit match for next week. So that should be very good. Coming up next, Will Ospreay has an interview with AT. How you fucking doing, Tom? Tony Schiavone. Like, he speaks well. He seemed a little awkward at first because he kept on looking away from the camera like this when he's supposed to be just looking in the camera. It started off well. It was all right. Here's the thing with like an angle like this. Like, okay, they're building this as like the best wrestler of all time against the best wrestler of the 21st century. And I'm happy for all the wrestling fans out there that are happy just having it being about that. I want an angle. I want heat. I want a reason to actually care for the match, other than the fact that we know going into it, they are going to kick out of everything. They're going to do dangerous things. They will do a back and forth chop battle. They will allow one another to forearm each other in the head. They will kick and knee each other extremely hard in the head and kick out of it. Danielson will stomp on his head several times. Ospreay will still kick out. This is the formula of a Will Ospreay match. I'm sorry. It's kick out of everything to the point that other people wouldn't, you know, other people get put away quite easily in pro wrestling. But it seems like in every Will Ospreay match, not only him, but miraculously his opponents kick out of everything too. I see what it is, and that's just okay. That's just me. I'm not trying to be negative for the sake of it, but I need a story to care. Apples and oranges, mate, okay? You like apples, I like oranges, whatever. But it's not. This isn't a show that's made for me. You know, I am a diehard wrestling fan, but I look at things in a casual wrestling fan sense. You know, they don't make enough effort to have us get to know these people before they debut, and we're just supposed to expect to know who they are and know everything about them. You know, there might have been people tuning into this show who haven't watched AEW before because they wanted to see Mercedes perform. You don't bring people up to speed enough. You're supposed to pretend that every single show that takes place, there will be people tuning in for the first time, and you need to bring them up to speed so they know what's going on. Coming up next, Deonna Purrazzo cuts a promo to the camera backstage. She challenged, I believe, Tony and Mariah to a tag match or something down the line. She spoke very well. Moving forward here, Jay White takes on Darby Allin. So this is a cold match. Wardlow versus Joe, for me, had no heat. The 6-man had no heat. It was just to see people do specky moves. I'm not going to talk too much about this match. All I'm going to say is that Jesus Christ, Darby Allin is going to be in a wheelchair by 40. Oh, man. I just think he needs to remember how great that pay-per-view match he had with MJF was all that time ago. And that he doesn't need to rely on all the stunts every single time to get his matches over. It's just not necessary every time. Blade Runner, and it was over. I don't know what the reason was for the beatdown. I don't know if Jay had been having some run-ins with Darby recently, or his stable had some run-ins with Darby recently, but I'm not sure why they would just suddenly choose to beat him down. If someone has an answer for me, please tell me so I know, so I can shut my big mouth. But I have a feeling that this was just for the sake of it, just so we could have an excuse for the Acclaim to come out and try and stop them from the beatdown because they're friends with Darby. If that's the case, wow, that's lazy. That's lazy. The Acclaimed, also they needed their theme song to play when they make the run in. I hate that when even when WWE does it. So they turn on the Scissor Gang. The Acclaimed. I'm so sorry. I just yawned. I've been trying to hold it back. I had a 12-hour shift. Okay, just okay. They're beating the living shit out of him. Billy Gunn's out cold. The Acclaimed are down and out. Darby Allin gets his ankle broken. And no security came out, even though they came out earlier to stop Swerve from having a little bit of a tussle with Joe. It's okay. We've written Darby off TV now, and we have solidified the facts that the Bang Bang Gang are the heels, or the Bullet Club Gold. I don't know. There's too they give these stables too many names. Coming up next, I just avoided another yawn. Coming up next, tag team match. Pointless. I'm sorry. Gates of Agony. I like the Gates of Agony. I think they got a great look to them. But man, how disappointing to have a foregone conclusion again on this show as they take on the team of Chris Jericho and Hook, who have the second worst tag team name in history, Lion Hook. Fuck me, dude. Lion Hook. And gee, I wonder who's winning this one. By the way, Excalibur, not a big sports guy, huh? You're not a big sports guy? Gates of Agony were wearing Lakers colors in Boston. As we know, there is a feud with the Celtics and the Lakers. Come on, bro. I wasn't interested in this because I knew what this was all for. It was also the skinny kid would dominate the big guys, hit the suplexes, choke one of them out. I know a lot of fans out there love this shit. They love Hook. They love Jungle Boy. They love Sammy Guevara. They love Darby Allin. They are too small to be beating big men like this. It's unrealistic. And if a casual wrestling fan shows up and watches this or turns it on the telly, they're going to turn it off. They're going to be like, bullshit. Look at him. Intelligence insulted. The finish was clunky. Jericho needs to be off television for a while because I think the fans are burnt out on him, and that's the AEW fans. Renee interviews a civilian backstage. His name happens to be Kyle O'Reilly, and he's actually a professional wrestler. And yes, I know who Kyle O'Reilly is, but he looks, again, these average-looking guys, man. I got a problem with Kyle O'Reilly. He's clearly a good wrestler, but he didn't look comfortable on the mic. After all this time being injured, he's challenging Brian Keith to a match. I don't know who that is. Can we bring people up to speed if they haven't been watching? Anyway, Renee interviews Jericho and Hook backstage. Jericho challenges Hook to a match. And I wrote again, this show was written with a crayon. Why do I keep saying crayon? Because it's like juvenile. It's just like cookie cutter, just bland potato soup booking. Nothing creative is going on here. You wonder, and people get so pissed off today. Oh my God, if I hear one person talk about the ratings, well, it's a barometer. It lets you know what's hot and what's not. And this product is not hot. You're lucky you get you're lucky you get the, what do you call it? The Big Bang Theory, the lead-in, that's what you call it. You're lucky you have them for a lead-in because they had 1 million viewers, and that adds on top of the AEW viewership by the end of the episode. They lost 100,000 people within the first 15 minutes, and by the end of the show, they had nearly lost 400,000 people. 400,000 people turned off the TV. Do you not think that that says something? Oh, well, I mean, Mercedes wasn't actually advertised. Get the fuck out of here. Everyone that tuned in knew she was going to be there. Stop coming up with excuses. Just accept the fact that the show's not written properly. Fuck me. I get mad. You know why? Because there's so many great minds behind the scenes there. There are so many great wrestlers on that roster. But this is what we get. Main event time. Riho takes on Willow Nightingale. Everyone online said today, why the hell was this the main event? You know why? Because Tony's shoehorning ideas and forcing them because he needs to find a way to have Mercedes. Needs to have a way for Mercedes to be standing tall. Show goes off the air, showing her off as she's dancing on the ring apron. That was the visual he wanted, but he's so uncreative, so unqualified for his job that the best he could do was this. There were no stakes on the match. I believe they're both baby faces. Riho's tiny. One thing I got to say, Riho, any small female wrestler out there, please don't make Willow Nightingale give herself a Northern Lights suplex so you can hit it on her. We know that it's not possible for you to Northern Lights suplex her. And Willow, you should say no. Okay? You're a big girl. You're thick. THICC, thick. You shouldn't be taking a Northern Lights suplex from Riho, who looks like she's 12. It's dangerous. We got a This Is Awesome chant, and I was like, it's all right, but you guys are so conditioned. There was a Dr. Bomb by Willow, and it ended the match. Match wasn't bad, but bit clunky. After the match, they kind of embraced a little bit. Then Sky Blue attacks, or sorry, the lights go out. The lights come back on. Julia Hart's standing there. Sky Blue attacks Willow from behind. Julia and Sky attack Willow. They're attacking her. They're beating her down. Mercedes theme song hits. She walks out. She hits Sky in the face. She does. I don't know what she does. She vanquishes Julia Hart from the ring. I don't know. I'm sure in a few weeks they're going to tag Willow and Mercedes together to face Julia and Sky Blue. I don't get this idea process whatsoever. This whole idea, I do not get it. This is the angle. This is the hot angle that you go off the air with. You could have done something with her and Britt Baker at the start of the show. You could have had Mercedes piss. I don't know. There could have been anything you could have done to have a bit of heat and a cliffhanger to end the show. What if Mercedes found Britt Baker in the parking lot because Britt's suspended, but she's waiting out there for Mercedes to leave the building, and this is our final segment of the show, and the two of them have a brutal fight in the parking lot? I know she's got a bad back, but she doesn't have to take any bumps, just back and forth punching. I don't know. Surely she can do that. I don't know. Anything, an angle that's hot. Oh, God. I'm so sorry for the yawning. I'm so sorry. The last thing that I'm going to complain about, when they went off the air or they're about to go off the air, Excalibur, and there's a graphic at the bottom of the screen, Excalibur says, AEW Dynamite next week, we'll hear from Mercedes Monet while she's on the screen. You can't do that. She's still there. She can say something now. You're gonna hear from her after she's already cut a promo. What didn't she say tonight that she has to say next week? She needs a few days to like say, "Hey, I'm going to come out because the fans will hear from me next week." You can't promote that when she's still on the screen. That is such elementary shit. God damn it, man. I did enjoy the show. I did not enjoy the show. This was boring. I'm disappointed because, again, there's so many great minds behind the scenes there. There's so many great people there, and they just get wasted because the guy doesn't know how to write a show. And the boss from Stardom's there. Like, good luck, bro. Good luck with your having your talent go over to AEW and be at Forbidden Door and lose the matches to all the established AEW talent. And who cares anyway, because there's only been one women's match on the show, because he doesn't care about women's wrestling. There we have it. There's the review of AEW Big Business. I wanted it to really be big business. I was rooting for them to have a great show here, and they did not. Enjoy your rose-tinted glasses, all you want out there, AEW fans. I am happy for you if this is all you need. I saw JD from New York say, like, the show has been so consistent the last few weeks. And like, bro, you don't even know what you like, and you don't even know why you like it. You don't even know why it's good. You just force it. Like Tony Khan trying to force multi-man matches on a pay-per-view to shoehorn wrestlers onto the card. Sorry for the ranting. Sorry it was mostly negative. Wanted to like the show, couldn't like the show. Karlifornia, Slam Society. See you down the road. Thank you.